The year was 1997. What happened that year? Gasoline was $1.22 on MTV. Daria debuted for the first time, and conversely, Beavis and Butthead also ended with their season finale. Notorious B.I.G. was shot. Celine Dion had the album of the year, which was directly related to what was happening in the movie theater. Titanic was smashing it. Box office sales were through the roof. All the ladies were crying. Secretly, some of the guys were crying too. But not this time, because I haven't seen it. And for everybody that's younger than me, the first Harry Potter book was invented, and Pokemon was introduced to the United States. So I remember sitting in high school when the bell rang on the intercom, and that bell signified the end of the day, but also the end of 9th grade for me. I had spent the entire year squandered getting picked on every month, every day, and I barely survived it. Everyone stood up and they left, and I remember sitting there wishing that things had been different. And I realized something. I decided that I was going to spend my entire summer break from 9th grade to 10th grade transforming myself into becoming a cool kid. In high school, we forget how important it is, this social element that takes place, because how you are perceived literally changes how your day would go. Where you could sit on the bus, what bathroom you could go to, where you sat in the lunchroom, even like who would laugh at your jokes. Up until high school, I had all of that. It was really easy growing up for me, because kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade was awesome. You can imagine like the cutest baby like you've ever seen, right? And then you can imagine the cutest Asian baby you've ever seen. And then you can take away their gifts because I'm standing right here, right next to them. I mean, the proof was in my amazing track record of girlfriends in elementary school, because who has girlfriends in elementary school? My kindergarten girlfriend was Lisa, my first grade girlfriend was Elizabeth. Second grade, I got back with Lisa, but then left her for Amy. So the key to all this success was just a very round face with big, soft hamster cheeks. No one could resist the roundness, not students, not parents, not teachers. But it turns out that this way of life has a time limit, and that's 8th grade, at the very end. Enter University High School, Orlando, Florida. Our school population, 4,500 students. Colors were blue and gold, and the school mascot was a cougar. As a note, we never won at football. At the epicenter of the school was a 4-story bell tower that was in the middle of the courtyard, about half the football field wide, tower at the epicenter. This tower was the legendary tower that we've all heard about in middle school. Everybody hung out here. There were bros who sat at the they did sports at the base of the tower. You have cheerleaders on the other end. Hip-hop kids sat by the lunchroom, Little Puerto Rico by the vending machines, Asians that can dance over there by a tree, band nerds over here by the band room. Over here there was a library on the 2nd floor, camp location for the overachieving smart kids, drama kids by the theater, goths by the water fountain, and smokers who hung out by the parking lot ready to steal class when school started. In this pyramid of a world, I was a nondescript, uninteresting free agent. Going into this world, I had no other social skills other than being cute. I didn't know how to stand up for myself because I never really had to. Instead of this friendly, adorable preteen, I was now just another target for real teenagers who owned cars and had facial hair. These guys, I had one camp that took me under their wing. That was the band camp. They were my only lifeline. They were great, but seriously, they would not stand up for me if someone, say Michael Kaminer, would have thrown milk on you in the lunchroom. I suffered for one whole 9th grade year. So the summer break, from freshman to sophomore, I made this elaborate plan to become a cool kid. I watched as many movies as I could, and these were the 3 points that I went into. First, I had to have a bunch of different friends. Because it would just be the coolest thing to walk through the cafeteria and be like, hey guys, and then they say, hey, come over, hang out with us, and you're like, no, I have other friends there. It was part of my daydream. Second, I needed a girlfriend. That was pretty important because I had a few in elementary school, and I wanted to revisit this as a teenager. I also noticed that there's an element of social acceptance to having a girlfriend. Basically, all the girls are like, oh, that guy's taken. He's basically pre-approved. Third, I wanted to get into a fight and win. I was going to stand up for myself against some of these bullies and make an example of somebody because that's what they did in prison movies. I was going to knock a bully out and then knock out his friend too because I was strong and crazy. That's how I imagined it. So I had this three-point plan, and the last element that I needed to make this all happen, I need to give myself a makeover. So let me tell you what we're working with here. I was about 100 pounds. I was very short. I don't remember how short, but when Asian girls are telling you you're short, you're short. Hugh wasn't cutting it anymore. I couldn't grow a beard because if I did, I just looked like a baby who ate like a bowl of Oreos. So, with all the money I had, I could save up, I hit the mall. I couldn't afford the status symbol jeans at the time, which were Jinkos. But I was able to get a pair of value jeans, which were called bullheads. They were a step down in price, but still kind of cool. I got myself an orange skater shirt, and I gave myself a cool-ass spiky haircut, just like lead singer of Soundgarden. And if you remember anything about the 90s skate culture, I was able to buy the most coveted shoes in existence. Black velvet Airwalks, which kind of look like low-top Chuck Taylors, but they're puffier and they're velvet. Topped off with my silver ball chain necklace, my head-to-toe makeover was complete. Before I knew it, the day of redemption had arrived. So, first day, 10th grade. Armed with my new gear, I was forced back into the battlefield known as public high school. I ran to the first test of the day, the entrance to the school. I walked by the corner where I usually get picked on by a group of non-academic rednecks, and no taunts, no teases, no Asian jokes. I couldn't believe that my camouflage had worked. I'm a genius. My goal was then to approach exactly two groups of strangers, and I felt the interactions went poorly. It was all kind of a blur, but the only reason I knew they went poorly because I just remember arriving into a group mid-sentence and then just leaving mid-sentence. And that's okay. It's all part of the work. If I come around enough times in the day, I'll just be that guy that comes around and says, well, and then they'll just be part of their routine, which is goal one. Surprisingly, in between first and second period, I somehow managed to pick myself up a wingman. Randy Burke. He latched onto me after I left the group because this guy knew I was going places and he wanted in. Never had a wingman before, but he had all the qualities of someone who could shine but not outshine me. He's a good-looking white kid, blonde hair, blue eyes, and the best quality about him was that he was shorter than me. Fast forward this amazing day that I'm having. First period, second period, third period, awesome. Then the last day of class, fourth period English. I found myself hanging out with a mix of jocks and cheerleaders. My confidence was so high that I was projecting a popularity of 8 in a group of 7. Then the teacher, Mrs. Whitley, announced, if everyone likes where they're sitting, we'll go ahead and make this the assigned seating arrangement for the year. Everyone around me, they gave each other a look and this nod, this head nod, and it was something I was secretly working so hard for. That was the sign that I knew that I had made it. I did it. I was going to be sitting with these kids for the rest of the school year, and all my hard work was about to pay off. But I say about to pay off because where one person would relax, I would continue the work and truly establish myself in this new world that I've created. I had to keep rising to the top. I had to do something big. But what challenges cool kids? Thanks to the Breakfast Club, I knew the answer to that. Rebellious kids. My summer research had paid off. When Mrs. Whitley next gave out the first reading assignment of the year in class, I decided to act in defiance by defying the man. As you mess with the bull, you get the horns. I'm going to sleep. While everyone around me was questioning, and they were in awe, just thinking, who is this person that is going to sleep in the first reading assignment of the class? I was too busy enjoying my new throne. To this day, I can still remember, as I lay my head down peacefully, the spectacular lull to victory. Then everything I built was about to crumble. I was then abruptly woken up to the sound of me farting. It was like two basketballs being dribbled once. I woke up in a panic. Like being late for a job interview panic. Like, how could this be happening? Like, my body has betrayed me. I have absolutely no idea how to handle this. Well, as a newly established king, I need to address my public. So, how bad is this? Like a possum playing that, I raised my head up from my desk, and from my sleeping position, I turned for support to my wingman for help. Only when I looked at Randy, I could tell he was no longer my wingman. I looked to the group next to me, and everyone had at least one eyebrow raised, if not both. And this group that I had been working so hard to impress and then ignore had now clipped my wings. The sheer embarrassment and judgment was so overwhelming that I showed my true self again by tearing up. It's terrible. It's all over. Everything I did is over. But in that moment of terror, something happened that had never happened before. In the heat of the moment, I was able to see with clarity. Instead of trying to be a cool kid, I was just going to be honest. So I apologized. It's all I could do. In that moment, I gave up the fight to be an 8 in a group of 7s. So, reviewing this 3-point plan, I didn't get a bunch of different friends, including that English group. I didn't get a girlfriend that year, and I certainly didn't get into a fight. Not even close. What I did get was a realization. All those plans and all those goals just wasn't the real me. Because it's not easy to change who you are. But it's important to try new things so that you know. That year I learned not to care so much about what other people thought. I found out that the things that made me a unique and weird Asian that couldn't dance / band kid wasn't so bad. For example, the places that I can fart now would make my past self completely not want to grow up. Thank you.